if I practice reason, my emotions will have less and less a grip. And everybody has emotions. Like tomorrow, if I see something, if I see a building collapse, I'm going to have an emotional reaction. Of course, I'm thinking human beings are dying there, and I'm going to go in. And you don't want to be so robotic that you have no emotion. So there's a question of degrees. You don't want to be so cold and so calculated. And you know, you don't want to be like Spock, for instance. You go so, everything is just pure reason, because then you lose creativity. And that's why I admire Leonardo da Vinci so much. He said, look, my philosophy is having a blend of reason and art. Science and art. And art is creativity. There's some emotion to it. I have to see beauty. Plato said the same thing. There has to be an art. We don't want to suppress it to zero. But the majority of people's emotions are here, that they can never use reason. Where what you want is to be here. But you don't want to be here either. Because then for you, there's no subjectiveness. And you can't see. Subjectiveness is a reality of the world. It is a reality of the world. Don't shut it out and ignore it. The crazy thing about it is that if I were to approach everything perfectly scientifically and rational, I wouldn't know that a human being has thoughts, right? Because if I went and opened your mind up and I looked inside, there would be no thoughts. That's what Leibniz said. Leibniz said this. If I was really tiny and I went in your ear and I walked around your brain, I would just see neurons firing. I would just see electrical impulses. But I wouldn't see your thoughts. I wouldn't see, if you pictured a rose, I wouldn't be able to see that rose. But the only reason I believe you can picture things in your mind is because I can picture things in my mind. But I have no proof outside of that. I only think, hey, this guy looks like me, talks like me. He's probably having the same internal experience. Probably. I have no scientific evidence of it whatsoever. That's not a rational belief. It's conjecture. I'm just guessing the truth. But that's where art comes in, subjectiveness. If it wasn't for my own subjective realities, I wouldn't believe that you're having any. Like even Descartes was so scientific, so rational. He said, look, when you cut up an animal and they scream, they're not really feeling pain. It's just like if you were cutting a robot and he was screaming. For me, I consider that to be untrue. Because he went so far, he lost subjectivity. So, I like Leonardo da Vinci's balance. You talk about a balance. But the balance is not 50-50. A good balance is reason over emotion. I'd want to leave something good, something positive that's helping generations, whether it's martial arts academy that keeps going from one hand to the next. I believe in self-actualization, being part of something greater than yourself, a community that survives and thrives, or just something good, people, just something great, that's what I'd want. I'd want what I leave behind that's going to keep helping people, and not to put my picture on the wall or anything crazy like that. Just, I want to be part of something, like for instance, the guy who learned how, show the world a new way to purify water. And I'm not trying to compare myself with his skills, but he gave something to the world that's great, If I can change something in martial arts or add a new type of aspect that helps stop kids from being bullied in the future, because that knowledge was passed down, like it was passed down to me from my trainer, it was passed down from his trainer, and so on. And each one perfected it and gave it to the next, generation. I'm hoping my students one day they're better than me, because I trained them so well, and so on. If I could do that, I think I'd be happy with my life.